I'm Daniel Crow, and I'm running for Oregon Attorney General. Over the past several years, corruption in Oregon has gotten out of control. You see it in the steadily declining quality of our roads and government services. You read about it in terms of innocent lives lost, social programs shuttered, injustice delayed, and injustice denied. Corruption is like those little termites that eat away at wood, damaging it. And just like wood, you might not initially notice the damage corruption is causing in Oregon unless you look closely and ask questions. Because the truth is, whatever is built in the presence of corruption will always come crashing down, unless you and I do something about it. Who bears the burden of corruption? Who suffers its brunt? Who pays for the cost of corruption? You and I. Imagine a bucket filled with government revenue, our collective efforts aggregated. These monies and resources are to be used to cater for public good, but instead, we see government officials drawing from the bucket for their own interests and gains. The Attorney General of Oregon is the one person who should be plugging holes in the bucket, not drilling new ones. But on the incumbent's watch, Oregon is dead last in the country in prosecutions for public corruption, and this Attorney General has earned an F from the Nonpartisan Center for Public Integrity for every year of her term for lack of transparency. Make no mistake, transparency and good government always go together, just as corruption and lack of transparency always go together. And so here we are, with funds just enough to cater for one of the types of interests, our interests or their interests. We see our public office holders corruptly enriching themselves with public funds, like channeling the $25 million cash settlement from the Cover Oregon lawsuit to Markowitz-Herbold, a private law firm which happens to be the incumbent Attorney General's most generous campaign contributor. Or look at the Columbia River Crossing Project. $200 million disappears not building a bridge across the Columbia at I-5, and this has never been investigated by the Attorney General. Or sketchy green energy projects involving the Oregon Department of Energy, which turn out to be riddled by fraud, which once again the incumbent Attorney General has ignored. And the effect of all of this is that work facilities for our disabled people have been closed. Foster kids are being abused and even murdered without DHS doing anything. The incumbent Attorney General ignores indicted child sex trafficker Backpage.com, which happens to be her long-term business partner. Our laws are selectively enforced. These aren't just complaints. This is the reality you see every day. And there's just one thing we can do. You can do. When you're looking at your ballot, fill in Daniel Crow for Attorney General. By demanding transparency and integrity in your Attorney General, you are ensuring your taxes won't be used to enrich private interests to your own detriment. Do not provide comfort for elected leaders at your own expense. Demand accountability. Ask for transparency. It is your right. It's the only way government can work for you. Our ability to believe in government has been taken from us, and I'm going to give it back to you to make us all proud of Oregon government again. Because justice is not a question of left or right, it's a question of right and wrong. I'm Daniel Crow, and I approve this message.